edition of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
These are good problems to have, right? So much success that you have more than one place to be.
5-3, touchdown, Oregon.
Off a dribble, launches, and hits the three. Oregon leads.
What a great opportunity it is to be able to play at University of Oregon.
I'm just incredibly proud to be a part of something like this.
She wants another three. Oh, three in a row.
Swing and a miss. Oregon is headed to the Super Regional.
Fans being out there making this a great impact.
We are so privileged and so fortunate. We get to see all these young people. We get to see this incredible growth, which is what college is all about.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
Really slow news week at the University of Oregon. There's nothing going on in week 2 of classes. No athletic events of note. I'm not sure how we're going to fill up an hour today. Matt Ulmer, Oregon Volleyball head coach, will join us. He's usually good for some shenanigans. Val Johnson, the deputy athletic director, will probably bring in a few surprises. And, of course, we have Dan Lanning's press conference for you. He met with the media last night, the Oregon football head coach, talking about a top 3 matchup at Autzen Stadium. This is what it's all about. This is what it's all about. We're calling it Mighty Big Week. It starts Wednesday. Volleyball against USC, 6 o'clock, also on Big Ten Network. It's a whiteout. Tickets are available at goducks.com/VBTix with an X. There's also an on-campus blood drive from 8 a.m. to 2:30 in Gerlinger Hall. That has a lot of connections to Team Ollie as we all continue to stomp out cancer. You heard Coach Ulmer talking about that. And then to take it a step further, our partners in the Big Ten Conference and throughout the Big Ten Conference have been working on this blood drive. Pretty outstanding stuff. Thursday, Oregon soccer against Michigan State. 6:30 on the Big Ten Network. It's the pink game. Game day raffle of the pregame shooting shirts, by the way, as well. Tickets are available at goducks.com/soccertix. Then on Friday, the cross-country Dellinger Invitational begins at 11:15 with the men's race. Then a noon start time at Pine Ridge Golf Club for the women's race. Also an on-campus blood drive happening on Friday. More details to come on that. And then on Saturday, I opened the show jokingly. Really impressive slate of events for everybody to enjoy on Saturday. ESPN's College Game Day will be live from the University of Oregon from 6 to 9 a.m. The Heisman House will be on the Riverfront Field. So if you're walking over from campus, you're going to see the Heisman House, which will feature appearances by Joey Harrington. That's open from noon to 4 on your way across the river. The Mashofsky Center Fan Zone opens at 1:30. Autzen Stadium opens at 3. And kickoff against Ohio State, also televised on NBC, begins at 4:30. Our Oregon Sports Network pregame show will be live at 2:30 from the Autzen Press Box. Jerry Allen, Mike Jorgensen, myself, Chris Clayton, Ryan Milano, Ashley Gentry will be with us. There's nothing going on. In fact, I was just talking to statistician John Lundquist today. And you know that it's a big week when John Lundquist comes in, our sensei of stats, just calms everyone down. It is the first ever top 5 matchup at Autzen Stadium. It's also the first ever top 3 matchup at Autzen Stadium. Safe to say, whoever wins this game, you're in a good spot. Are the players talking about that? No. In fact, I got to tell you, as our Quack Video team is literally editing these interviews and exporting them right now here in the Country Financial Studio, every player gave a great, grounded answer to this question about the big implications, about the potential pressure that comes with this game. You have to have that grounded mindset, and all the players did a great job answering that question today. 4:30 kickoff for Oregon football against Ohio State. Also on Sunday, as the big week continues, the mighty big week, Washington is in town for Oregon volleyball, 1 o'clock on Big Ten Plus. The Pink Duck giveaway will be going on. The first 400 fans get a pink duck. I think the desk would look great with a pink duck. We might have to find a way. Tickets again, goducks.com/VBTix. Then Oregon soccer at Senior Day against Michigan, 1 o'clock on Sunday as well. We'll be giving away Big Ten lanyards at that Oregon soccer event. There will be a kids zone, and tickets again, goducks.com. Sunday also has a softball fall ball scrimmage at 3 o'clock at Jane Sanders Stadium. You can make your way over maybe from Matthew Knight Arena or Pape Field, catch a little Oregon softball. More info, goducks.com/mighty-big-week. goducks.com/mighty-big-week for everything that's happening around here. You know, these are the weeks that are fun. I'm going to drop the, grounded mindset for a second. Like, this is the hype. This is why someone like me ended up working in sports, because you get weeks like this. There is a legit buzz, awesome stuff around campus. Really looking forward to the whole week. All right, Dan Lanning, the Oregon football head coach, he met with the media last night. Every time we talk with Coach Lanning, it's brought to you by our friends at the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Better cancer care close to home. Dan Lanning in his weekly press conference talking Ducks and Buckeyes last night.
All right. Big game here. We are certainly excited for this opportunity. Really, first off, want to tell our fans again how grateful we are for this past weekend. Thought the atmosphere was unbelievable. For the Michigan State game. A lot of things we were able to go back and kind of evaluate, and thought our team played well in a lot of ways, but certainly some opportunities for us to clean up some things. But getting to play a great opponent this week, strong in all three phases. As a team, when you watch them, you really don't see a weakness. They're really strong across the board, and this will be a great challenge for us. And I know our fans will be great again this weekend. So that'll make that a fun atmosphere for us.
What are the challenges of preparing for an offense that's so versatile, has so many talented players, and has obviously been rolling so far?
Yeah, I think it's similar to what I've talked about with our team, and what we hope that we can be is you can't take away one thing knowing that something else is a strength as well, right? And they're not really limited in what their strengths are. They're able to run the ball really well. They're able to throw it well. Talented at multiple positions. Quarterback can run the ball as well. So there's a lot of things that present threats, and I think you have to be sound in everything you come up with. Be aware of any risks that you're going to be taking, and when is that risk worth it or not, and be able to play sound football.
Oregon fans are very they know about Chip Kelly a lot. What have you seen from him at Ohio State, and what he's been able to do with their offense?
Well, I think he's always done a great job of utilizing his personnel, moving guys around and allowing them to do things that they do really, really well. He always finds unique ways to run the ball. I think that's, one thing that he probably doesn't get enough credit for is his ability to run the ball, regardless of the situation. And he's at UCLA last year. They were number one rushing team in our conference, for a lot of reasons. And it's because of his ability to run the ball. But he does a great job utilizing personnel, keeping on your toes, changing the tempos, creating unique formations that you've never seen on film before. So you always have to prepare for something you haven't, really prepared for.
As someone who's called the number one defense in the country, what makes their defense unique in that way, and how they've been able to achieve the results they've gotten so far?
Yeah, it starts with them, they limit explosive plays, right? They do a great job of keeping the ball in front of them. They play really physical in the front. They're able to stop the run. They're really sound and aggressive at times in coverage, but they pitch a lot of different looks at you as well. But it starts, they eliminate explosive plays. They play really sound football. They have good overlap in their defense. They're able to change the picture up. They have, really good D linemen, good edges, and then they're able to cover, outside. So they create a lot of challenges there.
I know this isn't the first time you faced Chip Kelly, but I'm curious if his success that he had here in the past, if that still kind of resonates within the program at all.
In what way? What do you mean?
Just like does the success that he had, 10, 15 years ago, does that still kind of, people still talk about that? Did you learn about that when you got here? Do you remember that era of Oregon football?
Yeah, I remember the teams that he had here. I think everybody respects him as a football coach, and certainly the things that he was able to accomplish while he was here.
Coach, Ohio State has obviously two-star wide receivers in Smith and Abuko. What do you see from them on film, and what sort of challenges will those two kind of present to the Oregon secondary this weekend?
Yeah, stop, go. They can catch the ball and they can turn it into a big play right away. It's not necessarily always averaged up a target. It's way down the field. It's their ability to catch it in space and get vertical. They block really, really well on the perimeter, and those guys have big catch radiuses. So you see them win on balls that you would call 50-50 balls. A lot of times they win on contested balls. So do a really good job there.
I think in your career you've coached in 9 different top 5 matchups. Is there any common trait or thing you have to do in a game in those games that to win that's more heightened in this type of an atmosphere?
I'd say winning football is winning football, but I think you always look when you're playing an opponent, what's some commonalities in games that they haven't had success in and that you've had success in, right? Where are those places where you can find strengths? What are the pieces of the game that are going to matter the most? Obviously explosive plays and takeaways is always something that we focus on here, but, rushing game, I think that matters. Ability to win on critical downs in critical situations, red area, I think are all really important.
You and your players have just talked after every single opponent, just still about it being Oregon versus Oregon. How was that mindset, do you feel like, kind of prepared this team for this big moment this week?
Yeah, I think just the constant growth, the focus on what can we get better and if we attack the things that we need to improve on. And that's been our focus all year. And, throughout the season, I think you've seen us play better and better ball in certain situations and attack things that we weren't as good at the week before.
Does having knowledge of Ohio State's running back coach give you any sort of advantage this week?
I think that probably plays both ways. Like last week we played against coaches that have been here before. When we played UCLA, we played against coaches that have been here before. It makes you change your terminology. Like you're going to change the names of calls. Stuff before that might have been a run for us is maybe now a pass. Something that was going right is now maybe going left. But that's pretty easy for our players to do once you communicate that and change it. Certainly he knows some of the things that we like to do. On the same note, we certainly know some of the things that he likes to do. So, Coach Locke did a great job for our program. He's doing a great job for theirs now.
After Friday's game, Dylan talked about emphasizing protecting the ball in the red zone, that being a key. What are some of the ways you do that in a week to try to get those situations kind of figured out?
Yeah, you play red area football, right? You go put it down there, put the ball inside the 20, and you go, communicate what do we want that to look like. And if you expect to see it in the game, you got to see it in practice first. And he knows he wants those plays back. It doesn't take anybody special to recognize that he wants that back. But it's about how can we coach that better and make sure that those situations are avoided.
How much more confident are you, Tosh, the defensive staff as a whole, in the CB2 position this year compared to last year when obviously those Washington games where they were able to exploit some things there differently than perhaps this year, or at least you hope for this year? How much more confident in that spot and the depth that you have there?
I'm confident in our players. I like our team. I like the guys that we get the opportunity to go out there and play with. I think our guys play competitive ball. This will certainly be the best challenge for every single position on our team this week.
I believe it's been back-to-back weeks now of no sacks allowed. What do you think's been the biggest difference in the O-line in the last few weeks that's made you feel confident in their play heading into this?
Yeah, I think a lot of pieces add up to that. Timing scheme is part of that. How we've adjusted some of the things that we do, I think, is a big part of that. And then the communication between the offensive line and the quarterback has also been really important there.
A lot of attention's been on Jeremiah Smith, but Emeka has been pretty darn good too. What's just been your impressions of him and challenging facing another receiver of that caliber when they have two of them?
Yeah, they got more than just two great wideouts. They got several great wideouts in their program. Certainly those two are very, very special. But, whether it's Tate, there's a bunch of them on their team that can go play winning football. So that's what makes this a challenge. You can't just say, okay, I'm going to focus on this one guy because there's other guys on the field that can beat you.
You guys talk about blocking out outside noise. Last week there was a lot of upsets, a lot of chaos in college football. Do you use that to your advantage to kind of hone in and to show your players why it's so important to have a single game focus?
I think our players are really aware of that. Our messaging doesn't change necessarily week to week. That's been something that's been consistent for us through fall camp, that it's about the guys in our room and what we're able to focus on, not what everybody else is talking about.
The last time that Chip Kelly came to Eugene, it was College game day. UCLA came in as an unbeaten opponent, ranked high. I know for you, and I think your profile picture, I think on social media, is still that one of you going to the College game day set. Just what do you remember about being there, being at College game day, and just your feeling of being on that set for the very first time?
Yeah, I think more than anything that day, I remember our fans and how much of an impact I felt like they had on that game, how fun that environment was for our players to get to be a part of. Obviously you come to a place like Oregon to play in big-time games, and this is one of those opportunities, but to get to be a part of big-time atmospheres as well, and certainly this is one of those.
Jordan's been so consistent in the run game, but it seems like it's been hard at times to find maybe a second runner. What's the key of getting Noah and Dylan more involved maybe this week?
Yeah, just that consistency, continue to find, opportunities to be able to block up runs properly for those guys and give them opportunities to win, on the second level.
What do you see from Will Howard that's made him effective in raising his completion percentage compared to a year ago? And what insight, if any, can Kobe Savage provide, given that he practiced against him for a couple of years?
Similar to these other teams that we've played that have had guys that have kind of crossed over, I think, again, they do a great job schematically of finding, completions. If you're loading up hats in the run game, there's going to be some guys that are open outside. They've done a good job of throwing into open windows and attacking that.
Coach, this program's seen a lot of big games in its history at Autzen Stadium. You've coached in a few of them yourselves. Do you feel like this matchup against Ohio State top 5, top 3 matchup, maybe the biggest that this program has ever seen in its history?
I certainly can't speak to the entire history of Oregon. I think this is a really big game. I think this is a great opportunity for two great teams to get to play against each other. Again, I think that's why you come to a place like this, but I think this will be an awesome atmosphere for our fans and certainly our players.
Going back to Michigan State, did you ever get an explanation for why that hit on Dillon was not a late hit or a roughing the passer?
We sent it in. I haven't got a response yet on why it wasn't one. I was told that the guy watching it said that it wasn't. So we sent it in. We'll see what it looks like.
What's Jurion done to kind of get a bit of a role? Looks like he got in there for the first time this last game. Kind of what's been going on behind the scenes that we may have missed?
Yeah, just being, part of it starts with him being healthy. Has been dinged up at times, but he's practicing really hard. He's working his tail off to be on the field for us, whether that's in special teams in a role at wideout, and it's created some opportunities for him.
What makes their running back duo unique, and what's kind of the biggest asset that each one of those guys has in terms of how they go about running? Because stylistically, I think they're a little bit different than each other.
Yeah, maybe a little different, but on the same token, there are guys that have good size and speed, and they don't go down on first contact. They're really good at using their weapons. As far as at the second level, they do a good job with stiff arms, but they rarely go down on first contact, and they have really good vision, and they're patient until that opportunity window opens up. But when they see a hole, they hit it, and they hit it with great speed.
Will's done really well at putting safeties in conflict to create some of those big plays that you guys have hit offensively. You touched on it, that OSU is just really basically giving up nothing of 30-plus yards. How have they been able to avoid that when that's been a strength of yours in particular? How have they been able to avoid it so far in these 5 games?
Yeah, I think that's a piece. They do a good job defensively of not, creating conflict, of avoiding conflict, and their guys do a good job of farming their own land, not worrying about what somebody else is doing, but doing their job and being sound in their job. There's times where those safeties are high and they're responsible for the deep part of the field, and they let the corners fit the run. There's times when they're guys that are responsible for the run fit, and then those corners do a great job of covering downfield. So they do a good job of changing that up, and guys doing their job.
That's Dan Lanning, the Oregon football head coach. It's a 4:30 kickoff at Autzen Stadium on Saturday as part of our Mighty Big Week. Talking about Mighty Big Week, Val Johnson, Deputy Athletic Director, is here. We will have no fun when we come back on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This message is for Shauna, my mom who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You taught me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle. Or forget extra diapers. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never, ever become a minivan mom. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, know it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I'm coming home to the place that I remember. Back to the land of my first love. Would you spread wide your arms for this wayward son?
In the Country Financial Studio, it's Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack with you. It is my pleasure, absolute pleasure, to welcome Val Johnson.
Thanks
The
for having
Deputy
me.
Athletic Director is here, everybody! Let's go. Hey,
Let's do it.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
When I asked you to come on this week, I didn't know that it was going to be a mighty big week.
A mighty, mighty big week.
It just, look, branding is powerful, and here we are. It's
Mighty
a mighty
big
big
week.
week.
It's a
We were
mighty big
discussing
week.
during the break, though, like, games are played. Games still get played.
Games still get played. Work still happens.
Yeah.
All the things are still happening no matter how big the week is.
Right.
We did make this week a lot bigger.
We did. We did.
Yeah.
You have to win to make it bigger.
Right.
And,
We did. And, there's, it's funny because I always say sometimes we do things to ourselves, but you don't realize it until you're in it.
all the time.
And, we had a fantastic, beautiful fall baseball. Do we call them exhibition? Like, what do we call just fall game?
Scrimmage.
Fall scrimmage
fall,
on Sunday.
A fall event.
Beautiful. We had our Canadians come down.
Mm-hmm.
Had that on Sunday.
Yep.
Don't know. Did we go full 18? I can't remember if we did to full 18.
Let's just say.
We got in some baseball.
Well, yes, and also in those scrimmage exhibition event settings, sometimes innings are meaningless.
Right. There's just a lot of baseball happening.
Right.
Waz got to see it.
Mm-hmm.
He got to see it.
And I'm sure
he got to see it.
And I'm sure he saw a lot of things if
He
I
did.
know Mark
He did.
Wazakowski.
He saw it.
I have not seen Waz since Sunday.
I just saw him in the hall.
Okay.
We didn't talk, though. Like, high five, going to Joey Mack, high five,
You told him you were coming here?
Yeah.
Alex, lock the door. That's advisable.
Yeah, so we started off big, and then we rolled right into last night. We had a fantastic Women in Flight 10-year anniversary event.
How about that?
So that was fantastic. 10 years of Women in Flight. That's crazy how that has flown by.
Can I pause that there, actually? I'm glad that you brought that up because, you've now been here a couple years and have seen the almost a couple years, right?
January will be 2
years, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you've seen it, and I know, followed from afar professionally.
For sure.
Like, what was your thought of Women in Flight 10 years ago, if I could ask you that, when you saw, like, oh, this is now a thing at the U of O?
Right. Well, we all know that, Women in Flight has really set the course for fundraising efforts for women's sports across the nation.
Game changer.
And it's complete game changer. So being able to watch that from just up the road while I was at Portland State and also at Willamette was just really phenomenal to see. And then to be here and really to learn about it firsthand. I just was able to have just kind of a meet and greet with Dave and Nancy Patrone just a few weeks ago. And to sit down with them and just talk about, their involvement of really getting Women in Flight off the ground and seeing where it is now. And it's just so part of the fabric of what we do with our student athletes and really just seeing acro and tumbling last night and also our volleyball team. They're interacting with our fantastic supporters was really phenomenal. And just seeing the growth of the program has been great.
Yeah.
And so to know that it's been going now for 10 years and to know where it started off and where it is today is quite phenomenal.
Yeah, I remember thinking this when Lexi Cross and I were talking about this, and it was like 10 years. Wow.
Yeah, 10 years.
Yeah.
It's
like when your 10-year reunion comes about for high school, and it's like, wow, that's sad, but also it came so fast.
So fast.
But it's great. I've said this before about Women in Flight. Like, we talk about how it was game-changing. There are still phone calls that come in all the time. Like, so how'd you do that?
Mm-hmm.
That's the best compliment you
can
be
and I
paid.
can't remember where. We were just on the road with volleyball out at Ohio State and Penn State, and I want to say it might have been Penn State, and they had something was up. And I saw it, and I was like, gosh, I wonder if that was modeled after Women in Flight, and I need to look it up to kind of see when they started and if it was in the last 10 years or not. But it was a similar type of initiative, supporting their women's sports teams, and to know how it really has, chartered the course for so many other universities and athletic departments to really focus in on fundraising efforts to really promote and develop women's sports and the specific needs of our women's teams has been really great.
Well, and I said sad about, like, oh, you're getting older with your high school reunion. But what I mean, I guess, is probably more like impactful and somber in that way of, like, man, it has had such an impact now for 10 years. And then similarly, like, I said tongue in cheek about how like branding is powerful, but it is. I mean, you say women in flight now, people are like, oh yeah, I know what that means across the country.
I mean, last night the hottest raffle item was the women in flight mug from last year that I don't even have. I mean, so it was a hot raffle item last night to get the women in flight.
There isn't one on the desk.
I mean, it was the gift.
Okay.
So
good to know.
It was a good one. It was a good one last night.
I'll make note of that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Val Johnson joining us, Deputy Athletic Director. Okay, we talk about the big week, Oregon Volleyball. Big week.
Big week.
Tomorrow. It's amazing. You go from the back-to-back on the road.
Back-to-back on the road, yes.
Yeah, and so you made the trip.
Did. I made the trip.
Break it down for us. How'd it go?
Yeah, it was one of those where I always tell our teams, a lot of times people are like, oh, you get to go on the, the cushy trips.
Right.
We always see like the bowl games or Hawaii or, whatever. Those are nice. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But, sometimes, especially this year, we always knew going into the new conference is that, there was always the talk about the time zones, the travel. You really want to make sure that you could experience it so that way you could support not only your coaches and our support staff, but also be able to experience, what our student athletes are going to experience. And there is no doubt, beautiful place. I will say it's a beautiful place this time of year. It'll be different. Maybe talk to me when I travel with women's basketball, if I make that trip with women's basketball. But going to State College, to Penn State, it's not easy to get there.
Right.
That is not an easy place to fly in and out of. And so that's the trip that I wanted to make with volleyball. And it was going to be one of our first sports that we're going out to make that leg between Ohio State, Penn State. And it's a back-to-back. And also this was going to be a tough one because it's the first week of the fall quarter. And so you have the academic element in there with our student athletes. You have the travel element. So we wanted to really be able to go out and see. So pack up the bag, head on out with our student athletes and our teams. And overall, I would say the trip went well. Fog rolled in and made our trip back a little bit longer. Trip out was fantastic. We were able to have some really great fall weather out there, which I think is great for our fall teams. I think when we hit our winter teams, that's where some of that travel dynamic is going to come into play. But overall, I mean, huge shout out to one of our partners, Anthony Travel. They are amazing to be able to have them on speed dial for if and when there are any travel snags. And also a shout out to some of you know Nellie Schaefer, who's our director of operations for volleyball.
Shout out Nellie. Yeah.
Shout out to Nellie.
Let's go.
Shout out really to any of our operations crew. I mean, they're really the unsung heroes behind the scenes that make everything from travel arrangements to meals on the road, all of those things happen. And sometimes we forget about that. That there's people that need to make sure the logistics happen.
Yeah.
And that's really where our ops go. So overall, it was great. It was a great travel. I think sometimes it's not even so much the distance that's going to be the hard thing. It's going to be that the time zone. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, and I think that's where a lot of the coaches are trying to figure out, well, do you try to stay on your existing schedule and just ignore the time shift?
Yeah.
Or do you go out and make the time shift?
Right.
Like, what do you want to do? And I think there will be different philosophies depending upon what time your games are, how long you're going to be out there, if it's a back-to-back, if you have some days in between. And I think it'll just probably be either different philosophy or trial and error.
Yeah. Yeah. And for those fans that aren't or that didn't remember or aren't aware, it was one of the only times really that you see a sport go back-to-back.
Very, very rare
Very
that
rare.
you will see back-to-back.
Some of that was because of our TV partners. Had
Mhm.
TV windows to make that happen with Ohio State one day, then the very next day at Penn State for Oregon Volleyball. I got to say, Val, I really appreciate your perspective, though, on that because this is, truthfully, an unknown in
Right.
some ways, right? Like it's a little bit of a learning and fact-finding type deal.
It really is. I mean, and we explore all the options. Some people are like, well, why would you play back-to-back? I mean, we actually explored playing Ohio State on Wednesday versus Thursday. The other thing that's also a wild card is it was home football weekends for both Ohio State
Right.
and Penn State.
So it makes it harder.
So it definitely makes it harder in regards to your travel arrangements, not only with transportation, but also hotels. So you want to play into those as well. But we made it work. We got a great split on the road. Swept Ohio State in 3. Unfortunately, we got swept in 3 at Penn State to a very, very, very good team.
Number 3 at the time.
Number 3 at the time, right. And that's hard, to come off of a game on Thursday night and go in to play one of the top teams in the nation as well on Friday night. And a very competitive place to play on a home football weekend where their fans were in full force. So it goes to show you what it is to have a home team, a home field advantage. I mean, that's why I always say that our fans are so important to our environment, why we always encourage our fans to come out, be loud, really be engaging, because it does make a huge, huge difference.
Val Johnson, Deputy Athletics Director with us. Timeout. I have a lot more for you.
All right, I'm ready.
We have no fun. Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
August was born 3 pounds, 9.8 ounces. When I first saw him, it was a whole range of emotions. There's stuff I still want to do. Being a young dad, it's not giving up. It's shifting. I looked through his eyes. I can envision a whole future with him already. To throw the first football to him, give him ice cream for the first time. My life is now devoted to his life.
Through all of fatherhood's firsts, never stop being a dad. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
You know you make me wanna kick my heels up and throw my hands up and throw my head back and come on now, so good to see you real.
Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack, Val Johnson, Deputy Athletic Director. Again, I've been joking with you that we have no fun. Smile is on her face as I'm about to ask this. So I don't know if word's gotten to you about such things. But we have a few people that have agreed to dye their hair should certain things happen. And, you're of a significant level in this athletic department. I would really love your support in forcing Alex Stimson to grow back his mustache. And we need help coming up with a reason for him to dye it green. Val, your thoughts?
One, I'm trying to remember if I've seen you with a mustache.
You haven't.
I was like, I don't think I've seen Alex
let
with
me
a
tell
mustache.
everyone, it was a great mustache on Alex Stimson. Hey, the Quack Video crew would love to see it. You don't need an answer now. I thought maybe I'd throw it out to you and noodle that, because Matt Ulmer is going to dye his hair green when we average 4,000 fans at Matthew Knight Arena this year.
Okay. Yeah, I could see it. I could see it both. I could see the stash.
Yeah.
I can see the green Ulmer hair, which is impressive that he would even agree to touch his hair.
It took some convincing,
I was
Val.
going to say it's very, very much a thing, the Ulmer hair.
Jerry Allen will be dyeing his beard green after our last game in January for football.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Notice I said in January. There will be a few games.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. I could see it all.
Yeah, Shirley, to your question, game day is going to be set up in the quad with Lillis in the background. The Lillis Business Complex will be in the background. That big old O. That's where game day will be set up, to your question in the comments. So
Yeah, that'll look
I'm
great.
just, we have no fun, Val. No fun.
It's all about fun. Yeah. I thought I was going to be late because I was having fun right outside the door.
Good. That's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were kind of joking earlier about, there's a lot going on. It is a mighty big week. But these weeks are why you get into sports, right? Like
100%.
Yeah.
100%. It's the reason why. Yeah. And then we go day by day. Day by day.
So the appropriate answer from Oregon football student athletes today when asked about, hey, the big implications of the game. Very grounded answers.
Okay.
Val, a lot of you have to just stay within yourself and go day by day. Now, I realize a lot of fans, as I'm saying this, might be rolling your eyes, going like, Joey, come on, like we've heard this. They know this is a big game. Of course they know this is a big game. Also, how you don't get overwhelmed by the big game is you just get your work done in front of you.
Right. Which is it's
really hard to do.
Yeah. Yeah. You just go day by day.
Day
Look
by
who
day.
just entered the door.
Day by day.
Speaking of.
Dave, a guy who goes day by day so well. Matt Ulmer, Oregon Volleyball head coach, coming up. Okay, a couple final thoughts.
Through the door.
Women's basketball season rapidly approaching.
Yeah,
too,
it
Val.
is. Yeah, we're getting ready to roll. Speaking of ops, I was talking to Brielle Mosley. I mean, she's got eyes on everything. And she was like, I can't wait, because I think some of you have heard I come over and spend time on Wednesday with volleyball and women's basketball, and that's where I get to come and work by watching practice and just hanging out.
That's work.
It's the best part of my
Val,
job.
I do that as
Best
part of my
my
work
job.
more than anything else.
And she said, I cannot wait for you to see, like, just come and watch them now practicing. Like,
cool.
She goes, they are so fun to watch, so good. She said, there's a few surprises. And she wouldn't tell me. She was like, there's a few surprises.
That's what we call in the broadcast industry a tease, Brielle.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I know. And I was trying to, like, list off, like, who I thought the surprises were.
So you did, like, the reverse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm not telling you. So I can't wait.
Great.
Tomorrow's going to be fantastic.
I'm excited.
It's a great day.
It's a big week.
It's a mighty big week.
Val Johnson, Deputy Athletic Director, thank you for being with us
Thanks
today.
for having me.
Did we miss anything? What else should fans know?
All the things. Just come out, support. Coach Ulmer's going to cover volleyball tomorrow night.
Yeah, that's right.
And
Tomorrow.
then we got all sorts. Some of you don't even know. In addition to the Mighty Big Week, all the things that are part of the Mighty Big Week, there's also softball on Sunday.
That's right. Oh, it was on.
It's on the
Don't worry,
thing.
it was in the start of the show.
It's in the start.
Yeah.
We got all sorts of things happening.
Yeah.
Fill your weekend, folks.
I'm excited.
Just come on out.
It's gonna be great.
Bring the family.
Nice weather too.
Beautiful
weather. Fall weather. When we come back, Old Greenbeard's going to join us. Stick with us here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear autumn leaves, you won't be covering roads alone this season. Take on fall in the powerful Toyota Tundra or tackle trails in a Tacoma. Head to Toyota.com for more info. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear autumn leaves, you won't be covering roads alone this season. Take on fall in the powerful Toyota Tundra or tackle trails in a Tacoma. Head to Toyota.com for more info. Toyota, let's go places.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed. Oh, yeah? Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too. Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating. And so, as a Black woman in recovery, hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help and you're vulnerable. It is the thread that lets you know that no matter what happens, you will be okay.
When we learn the power of hope, recovery is possible. Find out how at startwithhope.com. Brought to you by the National Council for Mental Wellbeing, Shatterproof, and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union.
Praises of a warrior, say your story, Oregon. Unto victory urge the heroes of the mighty Oregon.
Good work, buddy.
Oh,
hey. Welcome back to the Country Financial
So
Studio.
nice to see you.
It is so good to see you live
on this coast
and in person on this
Yeah,
coast. So we heard a little bit about the trip from Val since she made the trip with y'all. We'll start there. We'll talk about the mighty big week that we have ahead.
It's mighty big.
Yeah, across Oregon athletics starts
mighty busy week.
Starts with Oregon volleyball on Wednesday.
Tomorrow.
First, though,
That's tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah,
that is tomorrow.
Wednesday's tomorrow.
So let's start though with the hard hitting question of the day. Okay, I need some influence here from somebody who is a good sport and somebody who does things.
He didn't even believe himself when he said that. Did you see his face?
No, I really meant that.
Okay.
You are a good sport.
All right.
You have done so many things for the good of the fans.
Okay.
And as a
sorry,
fan,
keep going.
I
You're
represent.
fine. Yeah.
Okay. I just am on a mission to get Alex to bring back his mustache and dye it green. What's it going to take to get Alex Stimson?
I feel like you didn't know that was coming.
No, I brought it up to Val, and now no. The mustache looked great, Alex. It's a great mustache.
How long would it take you to grow that to where it needs to be?
2 weeks?
Oh,
that's fine.
Come on.
That's fine.
November?
I'm just
November.
So I yeah,
right?
Love that.
November.
Everybody
else does it too. You'll blend in.
I said to Val also,
Yeah.
you don't need to answer today, but if you have any thoughts, I'd really appreciate your creative feedback.
Yeah.
Could you do that? Just at some point. I need a reason for him to grow it back.
I feel like because he asked.
That's not enough.
He said no.
No.
Yeah. He said
But what
because
if-
you
what
look
if-
great.
But what if you
with it.
ask?
Please.
Oh.
How about for senior night? Okay. Thank you. That's November 15th.
November 15th.
2 weeks into November. Boom.
Okay.
Done.
2 weeks into November. Yeah. See.
There you go.
I needed you here today.
I'm happy to be here.
I am so glad you're here. Tell us a little
Thank
about
you.
the trip. Got a split.
The trip. Okay, so we left Tuesday, and it was we had a good practice. Played Ohio State, tough place to play.
Got
And
him in 3.
Got him in 3.
Woo!
I thought we were pretty clean in that match. We did a lot of things very well. They have an excellent opposite hitter named Emily Londot, who gave us fits, and she just puts a ton of power on the ball. And I thought she did a nice job. Outside of that, I think we held everybody else in check, and our offense was pretty clean. And Mimi had a great match attacking, and I thought Chris made so many good choices. And that was a really great sweep for us. And again, we got stronger as the match went on, so really proud of our group. That was an 8 o'clock match, and then we tried to go to bed and then get up the next morning to go to Penn State, and that was a tough day. The travel was not easy. It's our reality, that we're dealing with, and we'll have to continue to figure out how to do it better. But we went and played Penn State, who's number 3 in the country at their place. I think it was close to a sellout, and they were wearing all white shirts, and it was a great crowd, and we gained a lot of experience. We were horrible. The worst we've played all year. Really didn't do many things right, but I thought we passed well. And I thought we passed well for the weekend, which is really what we've been working on, the last few weeks. So from a coaching perspective, that made me happy. And so I was just thinking, wow, if we could pass like that on the road in a hostile environment and bring that back with us, then with all the other things we do, well, this could get good. So I was proud of that. From a coaching perspective, to see that growth in that area. But again, we've talked about being tough. We've talked about how, we're going to be really tested on the road this year in some of these environments. And we absolutely did not handle it very well. And, you can make a ton of excuses, but none of the players did, which I really liked. I thought they gave everything that they had, and it wasn't very good. But we did it on our terms. So we made just a ton of unforced errors, which is not like us. We hit a bunch of balls in the net and out of bounds or under the net in some cases. We got blocked, which we normally don't. I thought Penn State was fine. They have a really nice outside, Jessica Merzick, who I think is going to be a National Player of the Year candidate, and she was great. But other than that, we just made a lot of errors, and we just didn't handle our emotions very well. And I think the next step for this group is going to be, what do you do against elite competition?
Yeah.
And so a lot of our conversations last couple of days are about, staying in our own rhythm, not letting outside factors influence you, and, staying in attack mindset. And that's really hard to do in those situations, but that's the growth opportunity for us. So, again, for a lot of our players, pretty much everybody but Daly, Mimi, Colby, this is their first opportunity to go play in an elite competition on the road in that kind of environment. And we learned a lot of hopefully valuable lessons from that. And next week we're going to go to Wisconsin.
Right.
So you're going to get to go do it all over again, and I just really want to see a lot of growth, over this time that we're learning lessons throughout it. But this is what you're signing up for. This is what you want to do. And again, for us, the last couple of years when we're losing in the Elite Eight to go to the Final Four, it's those environments.
Yeah.
And so how tough can you be, and how can you just go point for point and execute and keep trying to quieten that crowd? And again, we did really poorly on that. There's a lot to learn, and I hope the group takes it.
As a coach, how proud were you that the travel didn't even come up? No one talked about it.
Yeah, so proud. No, again, I think this is a great group. I think they do things the right way. I'm really proud of who they are, their fight, their work ethic, all the things. Again, we had a really bad day. And I'm sure it's going to happen again. But when things aren't going well, how do you respond?
Yeah, what do you do?
And again, we lost is what we did, but we didn't fight back enough. And so this is an opportunity for us to learn. And again, we're going to have a lot more opportunities to do that. So I'm thankful for this conference. This conference is humbling, but also extremely gratifying at the same time. Where we're going to get a chance, to have, learning lessons like that. But because of those learning lessons, it can get you to where you want to get to at the end.
Now, meanwhile, you have the back-to-back, which we discussed last week, is so unique. And now, having gone through it, you get a Wednesday and a Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of a different week.
It is.
Things change a bit, don't they?
It does. Yeah, the practices are kind of like hodgepodgey. It's weird, And for us, Friday was a 26-hour day for us. And Saturday, we were just trying to get your life right again and trying to figure out which way's up and down. And then Sunday.
And side
to side. Yeah, that's important.
Yeah,
like a Wonka Vader.
That's right.
Yeah. And then Monday, we had short practice, and then today, and we're talking USC. And now, again, 3 weeks in a row where you're like, this is a tough week of competition.
Right. Number 16 USC.
I think this is just what the conference is, which is, again, is really neat for fans and probably cool for the players and really hard for the coaches.
Yeah.
But a great opportunity again. And so, SC comes to town, and they're playing really well. They had a really nice weekend, and let's see if we can respond and remember who we are and play with confidence.
Big Ten Network, Wednesday, 6 o'clock, number 16 USC in town. It starts the mighty big week. And it is.
Mighty big.
You talk about, though, the competition level. I wanted to go back and ask you about Mimi Collier. I mean, I think that's a takeaway, at least that I had from the weekend, is Mimi Collier is still really, really good.
Yeah, she's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I liked with her at Ohio State is she was matched up on Londot. Who's one of the best, I think, individual blockers in the country. And I thought, again, that was maybe Mimi's best offensive match of the year. So, again, very exciting to see. And, again, there's all these different pieces. We just got to put the whole thing together.
Yeah.
You're a golfer, right? It's
poorly.
Yeah, it's like, the day that you can putt, you can't drive. And
right.
when you can drive, you can't chip and that kind of thing.
Right.
I feel like we've had some days where we're doing pieces, but we got to put the whole game together.
I just drive the golf cart really well.
I bet you do.
Yeah.
Social. It's more social for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Honestly, truthfully, I've never been able to get out of the baseball swing.
Okay.
Like I can't.
Was your baseball swing good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I will be honest about.
Really?
Yes.
Is there film?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But
well, if you don't have it, then
Alex has been in the batting cage with me. He knows.
He's gonna put no again. He's gonna hold
so because it's that mustache. By the way, question from Peggy: are we talking about a handlebar stash? I vote yes. Peggy, yeah. You said no.
If
you
you're
said
gonna
for
go
senior
for
day.
it, if you're gonna go for it, come on.
It's a handlebar. It's got Raleigh fingers. Yeah.
Can you even do
vibes.
that?
He can do it. He can do it. Alex is the kind of guy that can do anything he puts his mind to.
Oh, that's so sweet. Look at you building people up.
I try.
Do you?
I try. Yeah.
That's great.
Come on, Coach.
That's great.
Yeah.
Love that.
USC, though, Wednesday, and then Washington on Sunday. Rivalry. I mean,
yeah,
this is what it's all about.
Couple teams we recognize.
Yeah.
You know?
How's that? What's that like?
I don't know. I'll tell you after. I'll tell you next week. I don't know.
Is the scouting report actually easier? Like genuinely?
I think you're more, you understand what they try to do systematically a little bit more.
Yeah.
So, yes. I think with the format. I mean, we played Ohio State last year, which helped. But the other three schools, Illinois, Indiana, Penn State, no, it's a lot of you're trying to figure out who these people are and how they coach and, the things that they teach. And so you can start to pick them apart a little bit more. So, the more time we do this, the better we'll get at it.
And these are now also matchups that are when the students are back. Mm-hmm. You got that first grade environment with a lot of freshmen.
Yeah.
Now you get round 2 in week 2 of classes.
Yes.
How can the fans help you? What do the fans do that can help you? What do you want them to do?
Show up, enjoy it, have fun, right? Make sure everybody knows where we are and that we're in Eugene. Again, the road environments are legitimate in this conference, and we want to have one of the best ones, and there's great competition in that, right? Again, we just saw Penn State's, and we're going to get Minnesota's, and we're going to get, Wisconsin's this year, and then there's the Nebraskas and the Purdue's, et cetera. It's like, I hope, we're competing with those teams. I hope the fans feel the same way. Yeah. I think, again, I hope everybody gets behind, the role that they can play with the new change in conference. And, again, a lot of schools take their volleyball very seriously. And so I hope our fans continue to do. And our crowds have only gotten better every year, and I feel like truly passionate fans and really supportive. So, just keep coming out and, make sure that USC does not feel comfortable in Eugene.
Love that. Yeah. Matt Ulmer, the Oregon Volleyball head coach. It's always a pleasure, sir.
Oh, my goodness.
Thank you for being here.
Such a treat.
What did we miss? Anything else fans should
Are
know?
you going to grow your mustache out?
No one's asked.
I feel like maybe it's a duet, perhaps.
Yeah. I'd go full beard.
I bet your beard would be wonderful.
It's something.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. It's something. That's why it doesn't get grown very often.
Okay.
But here's the thing. I convinced Jerry to grow his, and really,
this is nice.
But really what happened is Coach Lanning convinced Jerry to grow his, and then Jerry's wife said, nah, I can't fight with that.
Yeah.
Coach Lanning has not asked me. Maybe if Coach Ulmer asks, my wife would be okay with it, but she is staunchly against the beard.
I feel like I don't want to do that to her.
She would appreciate you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, from a pure curiosity perspective, I would love to see.
I got pictures if you want to see.
Yeah. Oh, yeah?
I do, actually, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And find the video of your swing, too.
I can
Let's
do that.
just get it all out here.
Yeah. I liked baseball.
Okay.
You know this.
Yeah. No, I know that you like it, but.
Are you a better golfer or baseball player?
So, last time I played baseball, senior year of high school, I decided to play again,
Yeah, I know.
And I was 11th in the batting order.
Right, because they did that then.
That's right, remember? And the only way I could get on base is if I intentionally got hit, and they didn't call me for that. But
I didn't.
I think we've talked about this, haven't we?
We have. I was hoping you'd just say, no, I'm a better golfer, but you're the one that volunteered that information again.
I'm a share, I take a lot of pride in that.
You are.
But here's the key.
Transparent human.
Whose team won? We won the championship. So any role I can play in order to get my team to be successful.
Team guy.
That's what I'll do.
And on that note.
11th in the batting order.
Real team player.
Yes.
Matt Ulmer, Oregon Volleyball head coach. Head out to Matthew Knight Arena, 6 o'clock on Wednesday, and then 1 o'clock on Sunday. USC and Washington are in town for a pair of top 25 matchups. After this, we wrap up Duck Insider on a Tuesday on the Oregon Sports Network.
I want you to grow out the beard. I want to see it. Let's see it.
Hey, Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial.
Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
Put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
I want you to know. I said I want you to know right now. You've been good to me, baby.
Now there's a question about what type of swing did I have. I was a center to right center guy. I often did my best work extending my hands. Not a slap single guy. I don't know what professional player's swing looked like mine. I had a very compact swing. Maybe that's why I can't golf well, because I, like in baseball, I wanted to extend my arms, and that's bad in golf, right, Alex? Like, you want to stay compact, close to the body. Makes sense. Yeah. Coach Ulmer joining us. I got to tell you, that back-to-back's tough. Like, this is just me talking here for a second. Like, that back-to-back is really tough. And now they get that spread out schedule at home with the Wednesday, Sunday. Huge opportunity for the Ducks. That, by the way, we're talking about a team that is 11-2 and 3-1 in conference play so far. In the running for a Big Ten title, but winning games at home, winning these matches at home against a USC, against a Washington, top 25 teams, really important. Preseason, Washington was picked 13th in the Big Ten preseason poll, and they're number 24 in the country. That's what this conference is for volleyball. It's going to be big time. Elsewhere this week, we've got soccer, we've got cross country, the Bill Dellinger Invitational, and of course, Oregon-Ohio State football kickoff. We're going to talk with Paul Keels, the voice of the Buckeyes, on Thursday. Tomorrow, a ton of interviews. They're also going up on the Go Ducks YouTube channel as we speak. Lots of preview of Ohio State. See you tomorrow.
Ma, is this how you feed a hamster?
I think so.
Is my homework right?
I think so.
Is, this milk still good?
I think so.
When it comes to parenting, sometimes it's okay